Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly, and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Okay, next please. How can I help you, young man?
We want to go all in on VIVK. The RS is coming any day now and we're just waiting for the good earnings.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that check and it's gone.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Laughing Stock. Dane, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Yeah, we were just starting talking about the VIVK here, right? It looks strong, that one.
This looks good.
I think
Real
it's
good.
just a matter of time before the story reverses and we are in from the bottom on, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you got about 1 billion shares that have been sold off, there's a lot of room to be bought, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity there.
And it just takes a little bit to send this price up. So no, that's going to be added to the intro portfolio, I think, which we all know has performed pretty good.
I would be curious when you and I put these, you know, whatever you want to call this shit up. How does it, if we had bought, like, you know, within like a week afterwards, how are these performing? Like, how many survive and how many die?
Yeah.
If you want a real good analysis of deep value working, you know, you just buy these companies that nosedive at some point. And how many of them turn around and you actually would kill it?
Yeah, it would be a lot. That's what I think. And especially from you know, last weekend where we had the barcode chart.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
what was that still,
I can't even remember now. I'm waiting for my scanner though. Yeah, so I think this week was difficult for me, Dane. I was very happy the previous week because I had found some success, or at least a good start for the year. And then over the weekend, actually on Monday, I had a rough day, and then another rough day just you know, the day after. And I think also I don't remember which day it started to turn for me, if it was Wednesday or Thursday, but it did turn around. I gave back almost all my gains in the beginning of the week, and then I got it back again, you know, towards the end of the week. So it was quite a roller coaster for me. But in the end, I know I spoke with you about it on the texts, but I've made some interesting observations. It made me think a lot about like things to maybe focus on moving forward. But those are things, in my opinion, that are not easy at all. Like how many trades you're gonna do when you start to fail a little bit, when you start to get stopped out. The market is maybe red on the day. Are you gonna continue? Because I did continue a little bit, and those picks were actually good to start with, and then it pulled back like everything did, which is just a confirmation that I should probably not do it. But also it showed the power of getting into a position that turns in your favor, can outperform all the losses on a day like that very, very quickly. But yeah, I luckily for me, it ended up at the end of the week, and I'm very happy actually with a couple of the positions I got into this week. I think I know you were in one of them as well, NVA. I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit more about it. And you have posted a few stories and articles and stuff in the Discord about that company. So there's just a lot going on there.
Yeah, I've been following NVA ever since it initially set up before they did the offering. And then I had it on pause for a second just because the offering, kind of pulled things back and I wasn't sure. But the one that, there's a few things that with the NVA one that set up well, that the fact that the offering, when it was bought, they offered some extra shares just in case whoever bought it, tried to buy too many shares. And a lot of those extra shares actually got acquired. So I was like, wow, someone's really trying to acquire this. Then you got all the gold news, you got the antimony news, and the U.S. government gave them $40 million to, kind of get operations moving. So they have a lot going in their way. On top of the fact, we were just talking macroly, you have all this money pouring into metals, specifically gold, silver, and the rare earth minerals on top of that too. There's so many things going in their favor right now. And the chart started to set up, and it's set up more than once now. I got in a little bit later than you did, but still super happy with the position because it's the first one that I'm treating as a true swing trade. I've not trimmed it. I'm holding it right now.
Same.
So I'm up a little. The week I had kind of similar at the start of the week. I took some positions and kind of getting stopped out, not for big losses or anything. And now with my NVA position, I'm only up I think it's 2.4%. So it's not like it wasn't a bad week. I'm positive again, which I was just telling Johnny, I am now almost at my all-time high. I'm literally a 0.25% away from it or something like that. So
which is very good.
Yeah, I'm excited because last year, like I said at the end, I struggled a lot. And so far this year, I have had good week after good week. So yeah, I also should probably be somewhat cautious because tends to swing the other direction. But
yeah, not that I didn't know before, but I experienced it very quickly this time. I'm up a little bit less than you for the year, but I think I'm around 5% now, and yeah, I kind of gave it all back a couple of days there, but managed to turn it around, like I said. But back to the NVA chart, recently, I also, what got me really excited was it started to fit all my criteria for what I look for. And then you have since the few times it gapped up, I will go into the chart here. A few times where it gapped up here recently on 5th of January and also 9th of January, you can see these dots down here. It just indicates strong momentum. And I told you in the chat right then that the average volume is a little bit below 100 or the R wall still, but I think that this is because of this bar that messed up the average volume a little bit, because it had such a high bar here on Tuesday, 14 October. So I'm kind of, as long as it gets close to 100, I'm fine with I'm fine with this move.
Yeah, and the other thing is I kind of, I definitely think it's going to move sideways the next few days. And the reason I say that is because we're reaching up to that upper level around between 11 and 12. That was the last grouping of people who bought towards that real high peak. Obviously, you got any bag holders from the initial October move, but if we can break through that, the sky's the limit. I posted in the Discord chat, and obviously it's a mix of things, and I'm using ChatGPT to help me determine this because I'm not like an expert on calculating, when it comes to like the tonnage of how much gold's in the ground and the actual quality of it. But another good news story came out, and that was basically that they have like a really easy mine that they could get to right away, and it would start to fund all their other operations. So it looks super bullish, and it made my discount cash flow and like I said, it's using ChatGPT and whatnot, so don't take this as anything intelligent. But it said it could be easily worth, and it said low side 30, high side 40.
Yeah.
So and like I said, not that that's anything, because it still keeps telling me it needs another number, and I think that's the more accurate measurement before it can give me a more solid number. But based on the news currently, that's where it would place it. So this could double and triple from here.
Yeah. And like you said, like where it's resting right now, I was so happy yesterday because it looked like it was going to be a red day, and I was a bit scared. Like, I know you got a little bit lucky with your stop, and I was a bit
stupidly lucky, but
it was getting close to mine also, and I was like, because I took it the day before and also the day before that, and it's been unsuccessful I've been unsuccessful to stick in it, but now I'm in it, and I was a bit scared that I was gonna get stopped out yesterday, but then it ended up 3.5%, Dane. So it was a good move yesterday, in my opinion, and where it's resting right now, I'm perfectly fine for a sideways move for a bit, because if this breaks out from here, where you said like these tops. I prefer it to take out this high top here also, but the $12 mark is, if it goes up from here, it can be pretty explosive, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also too, if you go to the intraday chart, like down to the last, if you go by like a minute chart, the last like 10 minutes, there was super heavy buying volume.
Yeah, here. You see it here.
So it makes me think that even at the end here, someone's trying to soak up that liquidity that's coming into the market. So someone right there bought a ton of shares, which, it's the point is, like, we have to get rid of the sellers, and how long does that take, and how many people are actually trying to sell right here, I don't know. But once that number runs out, this thing will pop.
Yeah. And that's why it's so this can of course turn when we come to Monday and send us both out, but right now this is one that we have both wanted to be in, and
now, like I said, I'm keeping my stop at break even, because I don't want to get stopped out prematurely, and if it pulls back, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world, but I'm going to keep my position in this for now, because I want to try to hopefully catch a big move on this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if you ignore all the fundamentals and the story and everything, just look at the technical side. It's like almost 8 ADR. The dollar volume is 8, which is a bit low, but it's high enough for me. Market cap 400 mil. It's not extended even here. We took it before where it was definitely not extended. It's in a stage 2 trend. It's setting up. It's in a good group, which just seems to. Everyone talks about that the metals now are extended, which I agree on. Everyone can see it, but they don't care. They just keep going. And we talked about it just before the stream, Dane and I, that maybe a natural way of thinking is you would see some rotation into cryptocurrencies and stuff like that from the metals and the miners, because you have kind of seen that being used as a, what do you call it, like a hedge in tougher times. But at the same time, we have talked about many times that Bitcoin has followed the market though, but now it has changed a bit. So, but the point was you haven't really seen any rotation into the Bitcoin charts, because that looks very, I pulled up the Bitcoin here, Dane. We just saw it, that it looks a bit weak, this one, and messy, and
That chart looks super bearish.
I'm not getting any confidence that there's a lot of money rotating into this space. It can of course rotate into other spaces, but I kind of expected it to see a little bit of volume coming into the cryptocurrencies from the extended silver and gold and all those places, and so far that's not the case, it seems like, which maybe then indicates that the timing for pullback in those groups are not here yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of convinced right now that there's a rotation out of crypto into the metals.
Yeah, the opposite way, right? And
yeah,
of course things change quickly, and that's how it is to be a swing trader. You need to deal with the information you have that day. And we're not saying that this is not going to pull back or anything, but I'm just glad that both of us managed to get a position that sticks here right now.
Yeah. And I got in at 10-12. If anyone's wondering, Johnny got in sub 10, so
yeah,
he's doing better than I am. But but it is a 30% position for me, so it's a big position, or a full position, I should say.
Mine is at 20%.
And yeah, I mean, everything just keeps like doing what I want the stock to do. That's all I kind of look at these days, is how is the stock performing, and it's just doing what I want it to do.
Yeah,
it continues to trudge up. All the intraday charts that I look at, to me, look like someone's acquiring shares still here. I noticed if you go to some of the websites now, they have it fixed, and it says institutions now own like 60% of this.
Oh, that's high. And they probably bought it up here then, and that's also another thing though. They like in the base, I don't see a lot of heavy selling. And you said like you wanted to get rid of the selling, and that's of course what you want. But you saw some heavy selling straight after that move in October, but then the rest is like a little bit up and down, and you had some news and development. So these institutions, they look very confident in this stock still.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how many bag holders there are above this price, because now as we start to get up here, we're definitely starting to reach the top of the price, and it's been a long time. I mean, we're talking 3 months since that huge thing. So, I'm thinking, based on what the institutional hold is here, the float's got to be kind of low in terms of who's still bag holding. So I'm just waiting for it to break through that line of resistance there. So like I said, I think we're going to bounce here a little bit this week coming up, between the 11 and 12. I think you're going to see the last, like, a little bit of an exhaustion there. But if it can push past 12, I think we start to really break out. Yeah. Maybe you could argue up to like 13. There's gonna be resistance all the way through there. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what the appetite is for it.
Yeah, and even if it goes to 13, we're probably looking to trim a little bit when it goes up to there. I need to think, as we develop here, but. I will be very happy with the position if it goes up to 13 and then bounces off that top and comes down a little bit. I will still be happy with that move,
Yeah, I'm going to be real hesitant with my stop loss. I have a plan for how I'm going to get out of this one and trim it. But my goal is to try and stick into this one, because I really think, like I said, in terms of value, like, this is a clean balance sheet. It has no debt. It now has different avenues, and it still has the chance that the government could give it grants, to add to it. It just had a raise for cash, so it got what it needed. It did all its assay reports, so now those numbers are all coming back. And each week we seem to get a news update, and so far each one's been positive. And not to say you can't have a negative report come out, so don't get me wrong, this could still turn around. But then on top of that, you have a momentum setup that's taken 3 months to develop, that's breaking out right now. So momentum traders are going to start to look at this. And you have a stock price or a market cap at 400 million, which means if an institution's not in it, this is probably one of the last chances they can get in before it starts to get, into the $1 billion range or higher. And I'm not saying it will. I don't know that it's going to get that high, but if this stair steps again, anything equivalent to what it did. I mean, this went from $2 to 16 at its height. Yeah. So I'm not saying it's going to do anything like that, but even if it does half that move, that would mean that we're at like $40. Yeah. And like I said, that's the high side of my discounted cash flow, but that's a discounted cash flow too. Not like, the market's just wild and something, this could jump to 100. I don't know that. And once again, none of this is investing advice or trading advice. Don't buy this. I'm just saying what I see. And this is kind of why I'm very confident in this position, or as confident as I can be.
Yeah. And just to say that also, I know you mentioned it, but both our stops are now at break even. So the only thing where we will lose money if you have a gap down or anything like that, which we of course hope we're not going to get, but we are already a bit protected from our entries.
Yeah. And I noticed, VWAP the past few days now. Well, actually, I think that yesterday and the day before, VWAP was above my entrance and definitely above yours. Yours probably. So, the past few days of volume kind of cushions us because that's all creating resistance above our entrance. So just things I think about, because a lot of times these, as people try and acquire this, I was, saying how, they sell off a small amount of shares trying to gap it down so they can buy in at a lower price. They basically catch all the people who are weak, handed, and will sell and give them at a little bit cheaper. And they just keep averaging, into these things and trying to get the best price possible. But the big question is, and from what I saw on Friday, it looked like the acquisition had stopped. Whoever was trying to push the stock down kind of stopped, because yesterday it moved up and then kept moving. There was no like sell off slowly through the day. Like if you pull up a 60-minute chart.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look at the last, I don't know, since January 9th, every time it goes up and pulls back, goes up and pulls back. And you just see it day after day after, actually all the way back to January 5th.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that whole section, you see how it goes up and then sells off, and that's them. And as you notice, and this is why it's important to see that selling volume isn't matching the buying volume, is because that's them slowly selling off enough shares to drive the price down. And then you notice the support it has. I mean, mine's the 20 EMA has a lot of support between the 10 and the 20 EMA for me. So that's why I'm saying it just looks to me like someone's, and now if you look at yesterday, for instance, there was one down candle in terms of volume. And it was minimal. I mean, it was actually, I don't know how it says it was up. It says up 0.09%, but that doesn't make any sense because it's down. But either way.
Also, Dane, if you go to a daily chart again on the way up here, you have a few of these red candles, even if it goes up, but a couple of them. This one here, 15th of January, and down here in what is this, 6th of January. Those candles are red in my graph, and I also have like a dot over the volume bar here, which just means like there's no volume on these red days, which could also, like this period here, where it was trending kind of out of the base. That was that is the bottom, hopefully, for this next move.
Yeah, and like I said, before that offering occurred, it looked like it was setting up to, like if you look at where this last base was on the 14th, 16th, 20th, in that area, that base in there, if you just cut out the section where it dropped from the offering and just slid that section over, it looks like it would be right where it would be breaking out right now.
From here, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, like if you take that and then you just slid that over all the way to the left,
like
to where, what day is this? Like slide that over to like December 8th.
Yeah.
you would see that it would line right up with those basically, and now it's breaking out. So the
Yeah.
offering, yes, it slowed it down, but it didn't. It's even powered through that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. This will also be, if it works out like we hope, it will be good proof that you have to be a bit patient sometimes, because we have had this on the list, on the radar for a long time. And like I said, we was watching it here, and then it came the offering, and for me personally, I kind of kicked it off the list. Not the list, but my daily watch list. I kicked it off when it broke down below my lines here. But then I screen every day, you know. So I saw that it coming back again, and you talked about it here. I think even did you try it here, Dane, or did you miss it?
Yeah, I've tried it more than once.
Yeah. And then it's been on the list once again for every day, and we talked about it on the last stream as well, and hopefully we can be in for a long run in this one.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, even from the dip here, I mean, this is up almost 50%. It was at $6, you know, and now it's almost at 11. So
if you take the bottom here, it's all up 86%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's also something I noticed, Dane, because if you take that bottom candle it was actually at the end of the year, 31st of December. If you look at the volume bars, at least in my chart here, it's a little bit of a change for the positive. There's more volume to start with. There's more momentum. There's more green. There's more blue in my charts, which just means that it's like these are like pocket pivots of volume, and it just obviously when it goes up 80%, there are momentum, but the entire point is like you have seen a shift going from maybe the stock is a little bit dead, everyone is waiting a little bit to see the story, the development. No really heavy selling though, and then it changes here down here a bit, and now it has gone up. So that is also interesting, I think.
Yeah, and one last interesting tip that I got from ChatGPT is it noticed, because I was taking pictures of the chart and feeding it into ChatGPT, and it said when the because I have ATR, that's like the only other measurement I have on this, and that's really more just, it's like, I don't know, I don't even know if I really use it all that much, but it said when ATR starts to move sideways and then turn, that's the sign that the institutions are done pushing the stock down. And it's been moving sideways now since about January 8th. And now it's starting to pick back up.
Yeah. Well, that is interesting.
So, you know, I don't know how much credence to give to these things yet, because, you know, I'm still somewhat new to this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been doing this for a while now, and I think my plan's slowly working here, because this is one of the best periods I've had. I think I had 2 periods like this last year, and then before that it was so sporadic just because I was doing so many different things, and value was I was under the impression with value that, you know, I didn't care if something went down 30%. I just had to believe it would come back, which for better or for worse.
You have to believe. That's the value.
I did believe, because I had it work a few times, but then the one time it didn't work, that belief went away.
Yeah.
And actually, if I would have just held it, I would have got if I would have just held stupid BNet, it would have worked.
Yeah.
Because it just happened to become a meme stock 2 weeks after I sold.
Yeah.
So and sorry to like just go heavy into NVA, but it's kind of the stock that's on Johnny and I's mind.
Yeah, and we hope, of course, that we will be correct on this one, and but fully aware that on Monday this can gap down and stop us out.
Yeah, someone's probably watching this and they're like, all right, so make sure we gap to 10, 12.
but that's what happens.
Other than this, I'm not that rich, guys. I don't have too many shares. You can't steal too much from me, all right?
Yeah. Other than NVA, I took PGEN, Dane, and yesterday I took BORR, BORR. I think it's a Norwegian company, actually. I think it is. But I was very happy with this setup in BORR. it looked really great. Look at this tight candle here, no volume, and then it did have the breakout, but then at the towards the end of the day, it did pull back to my entry point, which is of course not something I wanted. I just feel like I should stay a little bit more in this one and see where it takes me. I would be very annoyed if I sold out to be careful there, and then it goes good, this coming week. But that can happen, of course. I just it waited towards the very end of the day before it had this pullback. I was up quite a bit actually before it.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this chart, it just looks like it needs a few more days of moving sideways here. It is a good setup. I'm not saying anything against the setup. I just like if you go back, just kind of the cup and handle that formed on like November 25th, like where you got the 26 and 28, just kind of moving sideways, just trickling sideways, and then it pops from there.
Yeah.
That's right in there. If you see that setup here, then it's super bullish because we're at like 52-week highs with a setup, with a sideways move. And it looks like there was pretty good buying volume on Friday.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
Yeah, I agree. This looks good.
That's what kind of made me stay in it also, because I think it's in a momentum phase right now. But yeah, let's see. We just have to wait, right? And but initially I was very happy with it because it stayed up here for a long time, and then it came back towards the end. But it's okay. I'm still in FTAI, which I believe it's one of the strongest stocks out there, Dane. It's like it refuses to go down. Of course, if I say this now, the next week will be plummet the price, of course. But so far, it has just gone up, and I've just trailed the stop using the 10-day SMA on this one. Maybe you can see a top here now, and you're gonna get a reverse move. But I'm up 60% or something on this, so I'm very happy with the FTAI. Don't see a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Now it's starting to look a little extended, but this has been such a great move. Like, who cares? I mean,
I've taken some off. I've trimmed. I've raised the stop. I'm very happy with how I've done everything here. It was pretty easy to move the stop up and all that. But it's just been like on bad days for the market, FTAI opens up a little bit red, and then it turned green. It's like you can count on it almost, and it's based on some news. There are like good news around this stock, of course, and you can see all this heavy volume coming in. Almost all of it is buying volume, and recently as well. So and CTMX, I talked about it last weekend, and I got in here, has performed really well. I'm not sure that this move is over, but I'm trailing this one too, and almost now I can put it at that the gain will be 10%, if it stops me out.
Yeah, I mean, it's moving sideways nicely. Looks like it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it will do here, but it looks like everything's moving correctly.
Yeah. So these are my positions right now, and you mentioned GME, right? Before we move a little bit into, because we're gonna go through a few tickers in the lists that we posted. But did you see this, Dane? Justin is back in GME.
Yeah. Well, did you notice Cohen had a huge purchase?
Yeah, and also hold on, let me find it, because he's tweeting with Cohen a little bit here, and they are engaging. But I think Ryan Cohen was asking on X which analyst he should talk with in terms of GME, and Justin replied something like forget about analysts. You should talk to Roaring Kitty.
Yeah, right.
And he's trying to like reunite all the people that were in it here, you know. I see Dimitri Kos in here. There's just a lot of people that you followed on the streams, you know. So this will be very, very cool if something happens here. What do you think about the GME chart?
I mean, I don't really see too much here. You know,
maybe it's just in the last days that has pushed the price up a bit.
Yeah, it jumped, but now it moved sideways, and you know, it looks kind of like what it did at the start of December, and then it fizzled out and tanked on, what was this, the 10th. So I don't know. It's hard to say. This isn't my chart yet. I would want this to break out from here, and then I would be interested.
Yeah. I just read some news here now.
It's GameStop. I mean, this thing, who knows?
This lives its own life. And now apparently I remember that I have read this before when I saw it now, but they have bought almost 8,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, I remember him saying that they were in Bitcoin, which I don't know how I feel about that, but
yeah, but could be good too.
It could. I mean, don't get me wrong. When Bitcoin turns, it could be a huge boom for the company too. So
yeah,
you know, but now you're talking, you know, secondary markets and things to try and figure out where you price this. So I don't know, but just from what I see in price action, like I just need a little bit more. I mean, there was definitely some buying on, you know, the 22nd. Good volume there.
And the 2 days prior also, it's pretty good volume. So it's probably just in here.
Yeah. So what is there, like 40 million shares out? Is that what that would be?
Maybe I have the info here. No, I don't see it. But yeah.
Or 400 million. Sorry, I can't do math.
You know, all it takes for this to move like 40% is a tweet from Roaring Kitty.
Yeah, right.
So let me see if I can find who's the one Wall Street analyst actually worth talking to. That's what Ryan Cohen posted. And then Justin was in here somewhere talking about Roaring Kitty. He should.
Yeah, but how do we? I mean, is RK even involved with GameStop right now?
I have not heard anything.
So who knows?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if he posted or something, I'd be willing to immediately consider it, just because I know what happens whenever that guy posts. But
yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. I don't know.
How long is it since the last stream? It was in the summer, right? It was like 1.5 years ago, his last stream.
It was in May. Well, he had the huge run up happened in April and May. And then I think his stream was somewhere
in the summer,
start of June or something like that.
Yeah.
That was crazy though. It got back up to $64 a share there.
Yeah.
I remember overnight at one point, I think in the after hours or pre-market, he was worth over $1 billion technically.
Yeah. Here was the stream right before the earnings. Yeah. My point about dragging that off was just like he talked so much about how he had faith in Ryan Cohen then. But it's a long time now. But at that time, he had no indication that he was gonna exit. You know.
Well, I don't know how big. Hasn't he said that he had lost that faith in him?
Sorry?
Didn't he say he had lost that faith in him?
I haven't seen that, but that changes everything.
I thought I remember seeing a post at one point saying where he was like critical of Cohen and saying he wasn't doing like enough or something along those lines. I don't exactly remember, but
all right. Well, yeah, but if there's a story coming here, it's gonna be worth checking out the chart every now and then, I think.
Yeah.
I saw some of your tickers in your list, Dane. CRML was one, right?
Yeah, I missed that one, and that one looked great.
Yeah, had a good move.
Had 2 big moves, but
yeah,
it was a little hard for me to get in on this one. So
UAME is just also like maybe you could take it on Tuesday.
Yeah, there was a few different times I thought UAME was on my list and I was watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me. Oh, what the heck did I just click? Hang on, I'm trying to get my list now.
What is the move from the bottom here? 150% almost from 18th of December.
Yeah, I'm just if I scroll through my current list right now, stuff that looks interesting to me. AREC looks like it's setting up nicely. ASTS is another one actually that I think here looks pretty good. That's been a strong stock too.
This is one, and then ASTS you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just kind of looks to me like it's wedging upwards.
Yeah, it does. Which one did I see here? There are a lot of strong. Sorry,
I was gonna say the Trump media one, DJT.
Yeah.
That one looks to me like it's setting up.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Big move. There is a lot of strong names still, I think. It's no problem finding setups. But
yeah, I mean, when I look at my market strength, I had some strong days this week.
Yeah. But also I have to say though, I see a lot of breakdowns. Like stocks are breaking down from the basis, and of course you're never going to take them when you see it goes red instead. But there's definitely still a mix, and like we have said 100 times now, it's a bit tricky to stick in a few of these because you get these pullbacks. And maybe another strategy would be better right now, but I just want to focus on the breakout.
Yeah, I think another one, GHRS. Like how that looks like it's wedging like perfectly, very symmetrical looking triangle.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I mean, we're talking about this, guys. If I don't know if you watch the stream all that much, but when we're saying it's doing that wedging formation, the idea is as that contracts, it means the liquidity is drying up and it's going to move in one direction at some point. So it's not going to say it's going to break out. Could easily just break down, but whenever you see that pattern, that's what Johnny and I are looking for, where you're trying to see something break out.
And then on volume, that's what you want, right?
It has to have the volume with it. That's kind of key to the move. But a lot of times you won't see the volume till after the move. So that might confirm a move, but that doesn't mean that you have to have it to get in. So if it starts to break out from a pivot point, make sure you want to look at it before that. You can't just say like, oh, this one finally popped, because then you're too late.
In terms of the volume, it's a little bit of a guessing game, but you get a rough idea if it's gonna end like on decent amount at least. That's what I need, a decent amount, which I feel like you can you have to act quickly. Sometimes you miss, of course, but most of the times you can get a feeling of how much volume is coming in here on the day. I just looked at TSSI in your list, and I think that looks good.
Yeah, I think I had just putting this one back on here, but yeah, TSSI looks good to me. Now it is below the 200 and the 100, but I don't really care. It's more just as long as like the 50s, you know, moving sideways, and now we're above that. That's more what I care about. And the 10 and 20 are still catching up, so we'll see. But it does look like a nice pattern here.
And once again,
it might need a little more time. But
if you look down here where well, I'm trying to draw a little bit now, this circle here, just look at the change in the volume bars in my graph, at least, or in my view here. It's just like all of a sudden a ton of green volume bars. They are heavy. It's starting to move sideways, starting to get really close. You see it has bounced down to the 10-day moving average or close to it a few times here. And the move from the bottom here, it's like 85% or whatever it was. So it has already showed that it's having some momentum, right? Right now, I guess you can call it a good setup here. So if you kind of, like you said, the only thing is it's below the 200-day moving average. This is not in a stage 2 trend, which is kind of what you want. But sometimes you can still look at them, put them on the list, and draw something like this, and see if you can break out here properly, and just take a small position and see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I would argue this is sort of in stage 2, because when I see this, let me just actually click on this so I can annotate it. You know, to me, it looks like from January or December 31st up to January 6th is the first part of a flag. And then it flags, the peak is on January 9th. Then it breaks out again from there.
Yeah.
See that wedge? Yes, that is a wedge.
Yeah.
And then, you know, now we're in the next flag, which flagged up to January 16th. And now it looks like it's wedging again.
Yeah. I just have like a indicator here, Dane, that they base it on Minervini's rules of the stage thing, and that's what I'm going off of, you know. And usually though he says like don't touch anything below the 200-day moving average, but if you look at the Kulamagi streams, he buys a fair bit down here.
Yeah, I give two shits if it's under 200. I really don't care.
Yeah, no, I agree that I've started, as long as you have this this dramatic move ahead of it. That's what you want, right? That's what you're looking for.
Like I would have argued, you know, if I was looking at this on January 12th, which I wasn't, but on January 12th, if I would have saw this, I wouldn't have hesitated to take a position on that day.
This one, yeah.
Because I think there's a clear setup already at that point in my mind.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just added this on my daily watch list now, actually, because I really like this one. In terms of the fundamentals, in my table, they are beating on revenue but not on the earnings, so that's just something to keep in mind as well.
Well, even if you zoom out a little bit too, just look at it from a cyclical perspective. It got down to the same range back in April, and then by, you know, we're talking June, it's up, you know, 5 times. And, you know, now it's pulled back. Once again, we hit that bottom range and it's starting to move back up. So, and I don't know, I'm not saying it's going to cyclically do the same thing, but there is some strength there. So we'll see. It could break down from here. I don't know.
Yeah.
It all depends, you know, where we're at in a bigger cycle, which I don't know this company. I don't know that kind of thing yet. So, you know, who knows, but looks good.
Yeah, it does look good. What else do we have here? There's a lot of strong stocks still holding up really well, and also that sets up pretty nice, I think.
I like
one
right now.
Huh?
ZURA is one I like. Just looks like it's just trending a little sideways before it could make another move. I don't know. I mean, it's been strong, but
yeah. The biotech had a rough day yesterday. in general.
But even this one, I mean, pretty low volume in terms of yesterday.
Yeah, it was. And big move here, and also here in the past. Very big move here.
Yeah. So that's what I like to see.
Yeah. You know, and NRGV looks decent.
Yeah, I've had that one on my list back and forth.
Yeah,
some
names I'm a bit exhausted with because you know, you put them on a list, you draw the lines, you decide an entry point, and then you either miss them or they break down and they come back up, and it's like this is one of those names, but that just means that it's a very strong stock right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's stair stepping nicely though. It tends to wedge a lot and then pop and then wedges and then pops. So it looks good. It is a utility, so I mean, it's kind of limited in quite how high it can go, but
they have performed pretty good. The FLNC is another one recently that I was in it, but I got stopped out. But that's another utility name that is performing, looks very strong still. And once again, look at the volume.
There's definitely someone cycling into this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And just look at the volume profile down here. It's like here a move up, a lot of green. Then you get some selling, a little bit mix. Now it's just almost all green here again.
Right.
Just something. It has momentum, you know. We were talking a little bit about quantum names. And I had to kick out the QBTS of my daily watch list, Dane. I think it looks a bit rough for them now.
I mean, it's not my. It's you know, I don't have any kind of like clear pattern. It's a little too choppy for me, but it's still moving sideways. It's just hard to say if it can bounce, like, you know, right now it's bouncing off, what is that, the 100-day? If it can bounce off that decently, it's probably still intact.
Yeah.
It's just hard to say.
The one thing you should probably be a bit worried about here is like a bad earnings or something like that, because it's well known that they don't have so much to show for in terms of how much money they make. This is all on future potential, you know.
Yeah, but that you know, that's why I'm saying I don't really care about fundamentals with companies like this. I'm looking more at like, where's the narrative in terms of how fast we're progressing with quantum computers. You know, like every time like IBM says like the quantum computer is like this much better this year, or any of the big players in that market, all of these ones kind of benefit because you know, honestly, some of these I'm not even convinced are like a real company.
No, but
you know,
I was gonna say though, like when this group moved, it's moving, so you have to be quick then. And
well, quantum, no matter what, there's huge potential there. I mean, who knows where we'll be in 5 or 10 years from now with quantum, but obviously it's going to be a major impactor. Arguably somewhere in the realm of what AI is doing currently, I think quantum's there. So I see the potential. It's not like I'm hesitant to take this sector just because there's not really much fundamentals yet. Do I think there's going to be a bunch of ones of these that just burn and crash because they're not doing shit? Sure. But if I see a setup, I'm not afraid of them.
No,
I ain't scared.
One thing to keep in mind, though, in a few of these, maybe especially QUBT, when I look at the charts here now, maybe also Rigetti, is like you had all this, look at all this buying volume on the last move up. These people, there's a lot of overhang here, overhang resistance.
Yeah.
These people are probably looking to get out on a break-even trade or something up here. So this needs to be setting up and showing a lot of strength. I'm not sure if I would take it down here, even if it's set so good, you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting though, because as all those with RGTI, I'm looking at right now, as all those moving averages converge right now, you'll start to see if people want to push in any direction. You know, it's either going to sell off and move down, or and this is like the dumbest thing to say. It's either going to go up or down. Yes. But as it consolidates there, it's going to have to make a move. You know, it's just going to break. So we'll see. And so far, as of late, it's always been bullish. It's always been in the right direction.
Yeah, it has. And if you look at the weekly, it gets a little bit more interesting.
Well, that sometimes it's easier to zoom out. I agree with you.
Yeah. No, but always like familiar names. You know about them. You think about them. You check them daily, right? What are these names doing? Because you just know the potential there. And we have talked about before in Rigetti, especially how both of us missed 9 of September last year. Was incredibly stupid, obvious move, and I don't want to miss it again.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, going forward, this would be on my list, and I would be watching that setup because it's a very clear setup to me. So, we'll see. I mean, obviously, we'll see going forward. Good news is still no one's watching this, so we'll continue to execute the strategy. And as of now, I'm not changing anything. This is, like I said, one of the best time periods I've had in the years I've been doing this. So if I can stay at this rate,
it would be good.
Excuse me. Well, like I said, my downside is so minimal. It's and NVA, I am a bit of a breaker in terms of my style, but I would be doing this more if the markets were a little bit stronger. You know, I mean, the markets themselves have just been moving sideways. So while we're in this sideways move, you know, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and we'll see from here where everything goes and what happens. But it looks good right now.
I know I spoke with you just before we went on today about this, but you saw day on like Thursday, everything moved up. It was pretty easy to get things right, and I can't wait for the next period where you get like a good period, not just a single day, but a longer period where you have multiple days like that, because I'm gonna step on the gas pedal then, and hopefully I can get some results, you know.
Well, and one thing that makes me still feel pretty bullish is, so you had that news of Trump's going to somehow twist Greenland's into our control or whatever he thinks he's going to do. And then on, you know, January 21st and on, everything just bought right back in. Everything just came through. All kinds of stuff were at all-time highs. So to me, it just shows in general, I think the markets are decently strong still. I think people hesitate on news quick, but then everybody's like, yeah, it's whatever, it's buy right back in. So I just think
it just needs a clear breakout, right?
I just think we're waiting for something to kind of push us upwards. But as of right now, I still don't see anything that makes me think like super bearish looking right now.
No, it's not, and it's changing every week though. Like if you go back to that day on when was it here? Tuesday. I was looking at it, and it's a gap down below all the moving averages, you know. Right here, I was very curious to see the next day, because this didn't look too good in my opinion. But then you got the next day, and it was like you said, it came right back up again, and then gapped up again from there. So now the picture is completely changed from what I thought on Tuesday. And then you can even say that it put in a higher low. So then it makes it more bullish.
And now we're kind of right back in that same range we were in.
Yeah, but it just means it's a little bit of a tricky period right now. And if you don't have any success here, maybe slow down on your trades and your positions and all that stuff, which is something I should have done last year, which I didn't do when I was fairly new into. I'm still fairly new, I guess, but I was a fucking idiot, you know.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, as I just become more and more risk adverse, I keep seeing, and when I say risk adverse, I'm just talking downside protection. I am not talking about like I'm actually increased my position size quite a bit back to where, you know, when I got screwed in value, I was like, I'm not taking that large of position size ever again. But then I just kept coming to the conclusion, you just have to be super concentrated, just really protect your downside.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been doing fine.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see what the rest of the month can bring. What do we got? A week left? Yeah, about a week left for January. You know, and hopefully if NVA holds up for me. And then next week, I mean, like you said too, like when I go through my current list, I see a ton of setups. It's not like I'm not bullish in other things.
There is we spoke about the scans that we are using last stream, right? So I'm using like a 1 month gainer scan, and then you do 3 month and 6 month. I do it every day after the close.
Yep.
Just to monitor the strongest stocks, and I put them on this list here. And then I do that every day, and I add, and I you know, tidy up this list also every day, and I add the ones that offer me a setup to my daily watch list. And there has been no issues finding a lot of setups. We have posted them in the Discord so you can see for yourself. And we do a little bit of a different setups, both of us, but we both have a lot of tickers, you know.
Every day, you know, when I look at my list, and sometimes it balloons up a little bit, but let's say on average there's about 30 tickers in there, which is a good spread. But I would always say every day the top like 4 or 5 stocks usually are close to 10% or well above. So if you're catching any of those, you can perform well. And like I said, I do get stopped out decently now, you know, on most of them. So a lot of times I buy, I'm out, I buy, I'm out, I buy, finally it sticks. And sure, I might, you know, not quite get in at the low that I wanted, but I'm not taking all these little cuts, you know, like my cuts are super small. So don't get me wrong. Sometimes, you know, it adds up a little bit, but easily outmatched by, if something moves up 10% from where I buy, I mean, you know, that's almost guaranteed, you know, 2 or 3% for me.
Yeah.
And that's all I've been doing. I just keep doing that over and over. And NVA, I said, is the one exception to that where I haven't kind of just, you know, moved that stop loss up super quick. I've kept it, you know, at break even.
Yeah, that's also a little bit of like you talked about what you've seen at the opening and the price being pushed down. You know how it moves a little bit now. So
yeah, and that's the thing, when you start to really watch a stock, you really do start to appreciate how it moves every day. And it makes you realize too, when something starts to change, like, okay, something's going on in terms of buying and selling, because I've watched it now for 2 weeks straight, and I see the same patterns, and now all of a sudden I'm starting to see it change, and it looks bullish to me, which is why I'm, you know, excited. But it's just one of those things that you just kind of get an eye for if you watch something for long enough.
Yeah. And then I was looking at one stock this last few days, IBRX. You pull it up. I tried to do like a EP here, and I just messed it up. I didn't mess it up, but I got stopped out. And in this has like incredible news. I think they were doing a lot of things that got accepted in the Middle East and stuff like that. And there's just like heaps of money coming into this name. And I mean, like, if you see that news, because it came a few days ago, I was thinking like, you got a few days here just gapping up every day, you know, a tiny position where you just I know this is risky, but I was pretty confident that this was going to go up, but I didn't want to, because this was in a little bit of a bad period for me. So I didn't want to do more stupid. And like I said 100 times, I just want to focus on that one setup right now. But the EP is the next one I'm going to really learn after I have mastered the breakout properly, you know. So I didn't want to do more tries, but I can see a way, because I've seen a few charts like this now that you just see it moves up every day dramatically. And to be in something like this, that would, you know, if you maybe play a little bit around with some stop loss rules in special unique situations, like this one is a example of. Maybe that's something to look into at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'd have a hard time kind of catching this one just because it's the first initial move, and like every day, well, it's easy to look back now and say, look how many days it went up in a row. Like at the time, it's always hard to say that, and like every day, it looks like the next day is gonna be the day it drops. The one thing I will say is, as that volume kept going up each day, that's super bullish. So maybe,
and there's new news coming out every day too, you know.
Right.
It
so
was just
yeah, I mean, obviously, obviously, this would be an excellent one to get into in a quick time, and in a week you can make some serious cash. But
because also a few of these ones in the aerospace and defense group, like Rocket Lab and all those, they have kind of similar moves. It's a bit. They just looked strong. Look at ISSC, for example. They just looked strong as a group together, and I'm just like, it made me think a little bit. Like there are other ways to. With all of these are below the 200-day moving average, you know. So it would be very opposite to what you learn in the traditional swing trading books and all that stuff. But something to maybe start to think about a bit.
Yeah, well, the idea is, if you can catch a setup on these, that this is why a swing trade can really work in your favor. Because if it gets one of these parabolic moves and you have a decent position in it, you just ride it.
Yeah, that's what Kulamagi said. Also, he went from a day trade to swing trade because he noticed that a big gigantic move, it takes days, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
No, it's all things to focus on and try and see where you can see this in the future and also act and get in and stay in. I mean, but this is a good example of why I said, in terms of my style of keeping my stop tight, each day, this one, like you said, keeps kind of gapping up and staying ahead of the next or the previous day. And this would be a sign where you just stay in this. Just don't you don't trim this until first day I would maybe consider trimming this is on January 20th. I'm looking at IBRX. Is January 20th because that's the first day you actually watch it kind of pull back a little bit, from open.
At the same time, it's the highest volume ever, though.
Right. And it wouldn't be wrong to even stay in it from that point. But I'm just saying from there on, you start to watch it. And honestly, I mean, if you use like Lance's style where it's got the low or the close has to be below the previous day's low, that would have been on Friday, which means you would have gotten out somewhere around, well, I guess it would be the same area around 650, but still caught a huge amount of that move.
Yeah. And another thing with exactly this, which has changed now drastically in the last days, but the average dollar volume is high, and I checked it many days in a row, and it was high from early on. So this is news driven. It's not like someone is manipulating a lot here, I think, but there was like Immunity Bio releases early brain cancer treatment trial data. Share was down on that one, but there was some Saudi news I saw. Well, I can't find it right now, but here maybe it was. It was just like it had multiple different news coming out every day. So gigantic move.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the whole thing with the EPs. You're just looking for something to go along with the giant move, and just you got to act on it.
Yeah.
I do got to get going. Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
No, I just wanted to. If you look at the silver future, I think this line is gonna go like this at some point. Don't you think?
I mean, this is talk about a crazy chart.
It goes so straight up that it's gonna reverse and go the other way, but still go up. That's what I.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where silver goes here.
No.
I wouldn't bet against it right now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and it's almost in a straight line too. Looks
well,
like
it's still in that channel. That's the thing. I would, if you draw like a line on top and above it and below it, it's still in that same general trend. It's not going like totally parabolic. If it starts to go totally parabolic, like straight up, like if there's another 1 or 2 days, like how Friday was, then I would start to be hesitant on it. But it just stays in that general channel, which just makes me think that, it's just being acquired.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like in between those two lines, if it just stays in that range, I think it looks good. Yeah, like right there, how it looks, just kind of staying in there. As long as it's bouncing in between that range and doesn't break way out of that top, then it looks good.
Yeah. What do you call a breakout like I drew, like this one?
It's just an upward channel to me. I mean, I'm sure there's a name for it, but these ones are just hard to pick a spot to get into.
Yeah. Looks a
bit
like
you're going up and backwards in time.
Yeah. But I hope it continues for NVA now.
Well, and I mean, that's just silver. I mean, gold, is much more what NVA is going to benefit from. So obviously, it does matter. And, if you look at, that's why I said with the discount cash flows, obviously that number can be thrown off based on what gold price is at the time that this all gets going. So, but if gold is able to hold up here, which honestly, I think what's going to happen is it's going to get to a point, it'll pull back a little bit and then start to move sideways as it finds establishment. And that's the new price of gold.
Which then doesn't mean that that's a negative move or development for a stock like NVA, but it could be also. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bearish sign for them.
I would think that's a super healthy sign because it guarantees you that gold's going to kind of hover around that range.
Yeah, and you saw like we spoke about it after this day here. That was 29th of December. It looked like the top was over.
Yeah.
But then it did. This is a strong bounce back, and it just kept going. And we had another one here.
Well, and I mean, it has gone a little bit below the 20, but it never even gets to the 50. It always pushes up off of it. So
it's take it day by day, and if it is the end of a move, which I think it is, but hopefully we can get some gain on some of the stocks in that group,
right?
That benefit from it.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
No, I'm just. We will try to be on next weekend, I assume, and. Yeah, as always, come into the Discord. We are posting the daily watch list every day now, and Dane shared some good articles and some updates on NVA. So if you want, we have all the disclaimers all the time, right? So you have to do your own research and all that stuff. But that's what the channel and the Discord is for. Maybe you can get some ideas from here and that you research on your own. But we are very keen to have some discussions and some conversation about stocks that looks promising like NVA. We have done it before in multiple stocks over the time, and Value Hunter was bringing up Notex, for example, as an example that we have brought up multiple times in the streams and also in the Discord. So that's just good for everyone, I think, to have more views on stuff that we covered it pretty, what do you call it, like pretty thorough in the beginning of this stream, the NVA ticker. So if you have any opinions on anything we said, let us know in the Discord.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add. You know, we always hope people join in because it's always good to have conversation. But at this point, I'm not changing anything. This is I'm excited.
Yeah, same. It's
Not
been a
excited for
good
the snow that's coming, but
yeah. No,
probably get
things
buried
can
out here.
change quickly, but it's been a good start to the year for both of us, and I hope it will be a year where we can get some like real confidence in that. Just give us some time, and this will work. You know.
Yeah. You know, and I guess the reason why I'm hesitant to be too excited right now is because if NBA just pulls back and I get kicked out, I'll be like, yeah, you're stupid. But
Yeah, but yeah.
But otherwise, you know, if NBA can work, we'll be in a great. I'll be in a great spot. You know, we both got good position sizes in it. So, and then, like I said, as long as the markets stay decent, I don't care. Move sideways for the next 5 years. I've been doing fine in the sideways market, so I'll keep it up.
Yeah. All right. We see you next week, and then we will continue to post the watch lists on the Discord channel.
Yeah, and we'll follow up just because both of us are NVA, so we'll follow up with that. And you know, if we see anything going on that sounds like it's worthy of talking about, otherwise, you know, just kind of hold for a little bit, see what this does next week.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, there's no news on some kidnapped president somewhere or some island they're gonna buy or something. Dane, we need to get a stop of this. Like,
If they want to put out some good news, say that they're investing again in NVA. That's good news.
Yeah, drill, baby, drill, and all that stuff. We need some of those kind of news,
We
right?
need gold and antimony.
Yeah. All right, let's finish there then.
All right, guys. Everyone have a good weekend. Good week, Johnny.
See ya. Bye bye.
See you, everybody.